The addicts have become the drug dealers. One of my friends yesterday made a post talking about how your salary is the drug that your employer pays you to forget your dreams. Your salary is the drug that your employer pays you to forget your dreams. Now, immediately when I heard that, I kind of dismissed it. I was like, I don't think I agree with that. As an engineer, I don't believe that every engineer should be an entrepreneur. I don't think that every engineer should try to go do their own thing. And I fully recognize and understand that our economy requires there to be people that work in business. Period. That's necessary. Is there a lot of people that should be engineers or should be entrepreneurs? Yes. But not everybody. So I kind of like categorically dismissed it. But then like I thought about it a little more and I kind of let it sit with me. Now, at the same time that I don't believe that every engineer should be an entrepreneur, I do believe that every single engineer has a right and a responsibility to live into their fullest version of themselves, the best version of themselves. And when they do, when they start to become truly aware of who they are as a human being in their body, in their spirituality, in their being, in their family, and in their business, when they get all that stuff in the line and figured out, when they sort the rest of the shit out in their life, what becomes crystal clear to them is what they should be doing with their life, what they should be exchanging their time for, what they should be having an impact on, right? Some of the best and most satisfied engineers I've ever worked with were employees, and they were being paid very well. And they were working inside of a company, working towards a mission that they agreed with. And there is zero wrong with that. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to help lead a movement and help train engineering leaders and coaching engineers towards transformation. That's what I'm doing. This is it. You're seeing it. You're watching me step into it. But not every engineer needs that. So where does this drug dealers or the addicts problem come in? Well, engineers in general will demonstrate that they are not doing what they want to do when they have a few of the following symptoms. They are abusing alcohol or unable to control their consumption. They're bored. They're disconnected. They're dissatisfied with their job. Like all of these things come part and parcel with the engineer, which as an engineering leader, if you have on your team, you know what that looks like. You probably have an engineer right now that you just can't figure out why they're not showing up the way they used to. And here's where the rub happens. How do you, I'm speaking to you engineering leaders, how do you as an engineering leader lead your team when you're taking the drug too? How do you lead your team when you feel dissatisfied with your job? How do you lead your team when you feel bored? How do you lead your team when you're disconnected? Maybe you're overweight. Maybe you're abusing alcohol. Maybe you're abusing Adderall. Maybe you're doing all three of those. How do you as an engineering leader lead your team in ways to be their authentic self if you are not leading that yourself? The answer is you can't. You cannot lead what you do not live. And so the problem with engineering culture isn't the engineers. They're a piece of it. But the problem is nobody's talking to the engineers in the way that they need to be talked to. And that is where the engineering leaders come in. Because the engineering leaders are the addicts who are stuck in their job and feeling like they're stuck in their job, but they're making enough money they can't go elsewhere and they don't know how to fix it. They don't know how to lean into their authentic self. They don't know how to grow who they are to where they can start to really enjoy and appreciate things outside of work, to where now they can step into a position at work and lead their team with power and authenticity. You cannot lead an engineering team effectively if you are not leading yourself. You can't. And if you're not leading your engineering team, you might have some people that make it through, but the primary aspect that you're going to see on your team is you're going to have turnover. You're going to have alcohol abuse. You're going to have disconnection. You're going to have all of the issues that come along with being a disconnected engineer who thinks that their only value is their mind. Because engineers have so much more value than that. And the engineering leaders are the problem. You are the problem. So how do you change it? What does it even look like to change? Imagine you as an engineering leader could walk into your team. You could walk into your place of business and you know that you are showing up authentically as you are. You're physically fit. You're spiritually connected. You just left home where the family life is doing it better than it's ever been before. And when you show up, you've shown up with an operating system in place where you are already in power before you get to work. And you get there, and then that lets you hold space for the person who's going to talk to you about the fact that their dog died. The person who's going to talk to you about the fact that their daughter is having a problem with her boyfriend. The person who is going to come talk to you about the fact that their car died and their dog got run over. You have space to be able to deal with the engineers on your team and having them show up authentically. And when you lead from a place of authenticity, when you lead from a place that is your true self, guess what happens? You hold space for the people that follow you to actually fucking show up and lean in. You want your team to lean in. And you can't do it if, as an engineering leader, you're not doing it yourself. I have a mission. I want to go wake up the engineers. I want to go make sure and hit and impact every single engineer that I can. The problem is most engineers aren't interested, aren't listening, because they have no idea what it looks like to have somebody in an authentic position, in a position of leadership. Most engineers don't know what it looks like to see an engineer who is connected. When they see it, they oftentimes look at, hey, here's that engineer who's in shape. He's probably not that smart, right? They make excuses when they see somebody there. But if you open your eyes, the people who are the most successful engineers and the most successful engineering leaders are the ones who have got this shit figured out. And there's a path to figuring it out. Now, you don't have to do anything. You could just stay where you're at. You could continue to watch your teams rotate. You could continue to watch your teams come and go and lose bids and lose work and lose productivity and watch your company suffer because the engineering team isn't showing up the way they're supposed to. You could easily do that. Or you could start to show up in power and lead your team. Lead by example. Hold space. And when you do that, you actually open up the space for the engineers to lean in and figure out what is it that they want to do. Because imagine if instead of just trying to fill an engineering seat, hoping to find someone who kind of matches, imagine you created a culture and a company culture where people were drawn to your mission, were drawn to be part of your team. You got to bring in and pull and pool the exact talent you needed to get done what you wanted done, simply because you led and you created an environment where people were drawn to the fact that they could go work their mission. There are engineers I worked with at Tesla who were doing exactly what they were designed to do on this planet. Period. They showed up, they naturally walked in, they naturally did exactly what they were here to do. Those were not engineers who were taking the drug to forfeit their dreams. They were living their dreams as engineers, fully impacting and fully in their authenticity and their expertise. At the same company, there were engineers who weren't, who realized they were not in their place where they wanted to be. They weren't living what they wanted to do. They were feeling stuck. They were feeling like the money wasn't enough. They wanted more satisfaction. They thought it was something different, and eventually they folded. The difference is the leaders. The engineering leaders have to hold space. They have to create the space for the people to be their authentic selves. How do you do this? How did I do this? How did I go from 280 pounds, disconnected, not really caring about my family at home? I thought I did at the time, but I wasn't, not the way I need to. How do I go from that to being able to lead a team at Tesla, being able to lead a team at Vartega, where on my last day leaving the team at Tesla, every maintenance tech on my team wore a bow tie. Why? Because they appreciated me. They appreciated the way I showed up. They appreciated the way I showed up authentically and held space for them to do the same. Because here's what I imagine you will find, and here's what I've found for myself and others. When you give someone the power to be powerful outside of work as an engineer, when you let them find fulfillment outside of their job, a whole new world opens up, because now they get to come to work and just do the work they're there for. And it's not everything in their identity. It's not every piece of who they are. They get to show up and do their work effectively and leave and go home to their life. That engineer is not taking the drug. Now, that engineer might not be exactly where they need to be. And when you open up space to allow for them to see that, you've created the opportunity for that impactful engineer to go find what they need to do. And that's a way better place to be. That's a way better place to live. Knowing that by holding space for your team, you allow them to step into what they want to do, what they're called to do. If you're an engineering leader, you need to stop being the drug dealer. And the only way to do that is to upgrade yourself. My name is Brandon E. Grant. I am a transformational coach for engineering leaders and engineers. I help engineers install a personal operating system that is proven, that lets them grow their life and learn about themselves in every domain of their body, so that they can move through and lead the team of engineers. Because if I can impact an engineering leader that impacts 10, if I can impact 10 engineering leaders that impacts 100, if I can lead and impact 1,000 engineering leaders that impact 10,000 engineers, every one of those engineers starts to show up elite. The world becomes a better place. This is my mission. This is what I'm doing. If you want to know more about the system, if you want to know how to install a simple, proven personal operating system that lets you show up in power so you can start leading your team the way they're begging you to be led, I want you to send me a message. Ask me how to join the challenge. A week from today, September 11th, 5 to 10 people. That's the only number of spots I have right now. 5 to 10, 80% off what the full price is. Full price will be in 10 weeks because I'm launching. System upgrade challenge. You want to show up different, you're going to have to personalize. You're going to have to upgrade your personal operating system. And I have the challenge that does that. Send me a message. Follow along. This is my mission. This is where I'm going. It's Brandon E. Grant signing off. Have a great night.